Happy Friday. I'm so glad it's another weekend. I'm sure everybody is. Don't we all just look forward to Friday and Saturday and Sunday? Yeah. And it's been a good week for sports, too. Not to mention, still is with the draft going on. So tonight, guys, we are opening a few odds and ends, some one-box breaks, which are 2013 Museum Collection Football, 2016 Black Gold, and 2012 Panini Black. And then once we run through those, next up will be the start of Score Football, 2018 Score Football. We're going to open a third of a case, which is a massive 1,600 or so cards tonight. Before we get started ripping into the packs, we have a few things to go over. First and foremost, thanks to everybody. I appreciate everyone who bids and breaks with me and chats with me, and those who come by to say hey and watch the break after the fact and all that. Thank you to everyone who participates in any way. And second part, my feedback is completely automated on eBay, so you never have to wait for me to get caught up. As soon as you leave feedback for me, you should instantly get it in return. Next up, we're going to take a look at the stuff that is already listed on eBay. This is the stuff that's up for the next 5 days. I do put up new stuff most nights, but it always runs for 5 days. Not always, but 99% of the time. Because if you run it for a shorter period of time, yeah, eBay takes an even bigger chunk, and I think they're greedy enough. So we usually run them for 5 days. So tomorrow you can see we are all kinds of basketball from a variety of years, and our case portion of tomorrow is Donruss basketball. We'll be looking for some of those next day autos in there. On Sunday, we'll open a Game Day Great Football jersey. That is the new series, the 2018 series that has just come out recently. So we're going to start in that on Sunday. We'll open a half case of Prime Signatures. Then we're going to start on some Onyx Preferred Players Autographed Baseballs. We're going to do 3, which is one of the inner cases. So it's a sealed case of 3. And the checklist for it is really quite good this year. Better than I've seen it really ever, I think. So check out the checklist. That was 2 checks in a row. But look at the checklist, which I have included as part of the break information. I think you'll be pleased with what you see there. We'll also start a new case of Bowman Baseball on Sunday. On Monday, we will do a Gold Rush full-size autographed football helmet, and then we'll bust into some more Score Football. On Tuesday, we'll open some Signature Series Baseball from 2012. We'll do another case of the Onyx Preferred Players Autographed Baseballs. A triple play box, which is kind of cool. Has an autographed jersey in it. It has an autographed baseball and an autographed photo. And Ohtani is included in that, as well as in our Preferred Player Autographed Baseballs. He's in that checklist too. And some more Bowman Baseball. On Wednesday, a mini helmet, some plates and patches from 2010 and 2017, and then we'll wrap up the case of Score. So that's what the next 5 days looks like for tonight. First up, Museum Collection, followed by Black Gold, followed by Black, followed by Score. Those first 3 breaks, those are all free shipping breaks. Anytime you have a break with completely free shipping from me, it's going to go out about 6 or 7 days after the auction ends. Might go sooner. If you have something else going in the meantime, it'll hitch a ride. But usually you can plan on it being about the date you see on the screen, which I have projected to be Thursday. Our paid shipping break tonight is Score Football. I have it projected as Tuesday. The reason is this. First of all, we have to get through the rest of the draft, because rounds 4 through 7 are tomorrow. Then I'll have to sort all of these rookies, and there are going to be a lot of them, into the correct teams. So on top of all of the fact that there's a lot of cards, it's going to be a more complex sort than normal. So I'm going to project Tuesday. If I can get it to you sooner than that, I will. Finally, if you're in a break tonight, particularly one of the first 3 this would apply to, and your team is not pulled, there you don't pull a card or anything, you are still entitled to a consolation trading card. That can be from any year, any series. It will typically ship with your next hit. It can go sooner upon request, and more details in the listing description. So first up tonight, 1 box of 2013 Topps Museum Collection Football. This is break number 3. Of course, it ended tonight, the 27th of April on eBay, as did everything we're going to open tonight. And we're live streaming it tonight as well. And a new spreadsheet will go up, of course, before we start each break. So if you're not in this one, you're in one of the other ones, you're going to get a chance to see your name up there shortly. Finally, you just noticed there that the background went out of focus. Don't worry, that is by design. We're still going to be able to see our cards and everything without any problems. And now I'm looking over here in chat and I see we have little, do you say that Lush or Lush? Probably not Lush, huh? Maybe Luke. You guys know I'm challenged with the name pronunciation, right? How about I just call you Little? How about that? Little or Lil. So, Lil, how are you tonight? Thanks for stopping by. And you said something nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Which reminds me, if you are watching live and you want to see and participate in chat and you can't see it, there's two things you need to know. One, you would want to be logged into YouTube. And second, if you are on a mobile device like a tablet or a phone, you will also, in addition to being logged in, have to click on the link that says you want to see the desktop version. It'll be, we just did the rundown there. You might have missed it. The product rundown for tonight is Museum Collection Football, which we're doing right now, followed by the 2016 Black Gold, then the 2012 Black, and then Score. So I would say maybe 10 minutes, something like that. That's a guess, 10, 12 minutes. But that stuff is always going to end, or is always going to break in the order that it ends on eBay, which is also, just as a point of reference, the order that you'll find it listed in when I show, the 5 days ahead. So say, for instance, if you know tomorrow night that you're going to be bidding on something and you wonder where is it going to fall in the order, it's usually going to fall in the order that you see there on that spreadsheet most of the time. All right, guys, so we're going to start out here with Peyton Manning for the Broncos as our first card out. E.J. Manuel for the Bills, Drew Brees and the Saints, Deion Sanders and the Falcons, and our hit from this pack is Geno Smith for the Jets. That is number 250, and I better get out some thick sleeves for that. Of course, the Jets have themselves a new quarterback now after the draft, which is going to be exciting, I think. They got a really good, I can't believe they got Darnold at, what were they? Where'd they pick? Third? Yeah, third, I think. Geno Smith, 250. That's a sticker auto and a dual relic for the Jets. Of course, we talked about that a little bit last night, too. I'm really kind of surprised, but not, that the Browns took Baker Mayfield at 1. Adrian Peterson for the Vikings. Ronnie Lott, 49ers. Cam Newton, Panthers. The Canvas Collection, this is an insert. It's kind of a cool little card, is Marshall Faulk for the Rams. There's usually one of those Canvas collections in every box. And our hit, nice little Earl Thomas coming up here for number 225, no less, for the Seahawks. And these are, is that Pro Bowl materials? Does it say on here? I guess it does. Oh, it does say Pro Bowl. Yeah, okay. So I was like, those aren't really the Seahawks colors. So yeah, Pro Bowl material relics, Earl Thomas /25 for the Seahawks. We got one more base back there. And it is Stephen Taylor for the Cardinals, who also had a nice first round, picking up Josh Rosen. Eli Manning for the Giants, Terrence Williams for the Cowboys, Sam Bradford and the Rams. And our hit, hey, it's Julius Peppers, pretty cool, for the Bears. And that, of course, is a huge swatch there, numbered to 75. It's also a Pro Bowl material. Would have been nice if they'd given us a second color, but they're kind of stingy sometimes with those second colors. All right, let me get, there's something heavy on the bottom here. Marshall Faulk for the Rams, Darrelle Revis, Bucks, Vance McDonald for the 49ers, Peyton Manning for the Broncos, and we have a framed card coming out, Marcus Lattimore for the 49ers, and that is numbered 220, and very cool. Of course, you guys know I like frame stuff. That's one of the reasons I like Lux and the Panini brand from 2015 footballs, because they're framed. And this one, actually the frame looks to be in pretty good shape. Sometimes the frames have dents and dings and paint chipped off and whatnot, but this one looks to be pretty good. Marcus Lattimore, 220 for the 49ers. Recapping, obviously. Pro Bowl materials to 75, Julius Peppers for the Bears. Pro Bowl materials to 25, Earl Thomas and the Seahawks. And then Geno Smith with dual relic sticker auto 250. And those are our hits out of 2013 Museum Collection Football, which is going to roll us into some 2016 Black Gold, which we haven't opened in a while. I know, I've been so busy with all these cases with heavy base cards, I kind of got away a little bit from some of our one-box stuff. So we're starting to get back in the groove here. So once again, if you are in this break, please take a moment to review the information there on the screen in regard to your anticipated shipping date, as well as the information about consolation cards if your team is not pulled in this break. This is 2016 Panini Black Gold Football, break number 37. And as before, it ended tonight, the 27th of April. And, of course, team names on the left, winning bidders on the right. And we've got JB 1408s loaded up in here. And Buka Jim's got quite a few as well. We've got several people in here with multiple teams that are swinging for the fences in Black Gold. I don't blame you. It's a really nice looking series. The only thing that's a little, and it's a minor thing, but you know how a lot of the cards, especially the thicker ones, they don't come out of the pack all minty, mint, and perfect, right? They usually have some minor chipping and edge and corner wear and stuff like that. And it does tend to show up a little more on the Black Gold because of the black. You know, it kind of accentuates it a little bit. So if there was a knock on Black Gold, that would be the knock on it, in my opinion. But as a whole, I really enjoy the card series of Black Gold, so always look forward to them. Numbered to 225, Luke, whose last name I never say right, Kekly, one of the two, something similar to that, for the Carolina Panthers. Then we have franchise gold to 100 for my Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is Big Ben and Le'Veon and Antonio Brown on that one. Our base cards from the second pack, we have rookie gold mine to 225, Laquan Treadwell for the Vikings, followed by AB for my Pittsburgh Steelers, numbered to 100. And we just took Mason Rudolph in the draft a little bit ago. One of the last picks I saw before I had to finish getting set up. To 199, Sterling Shepard for the Giants on that materials hit. If I can get the sleeve open, we'll be in business, won't we? Jameis Winston for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's another nice big piece of material. It is numbered to 49. And, of course, the name of that card set is Massive Materials, so I guess that's why it's big, right? Ooh, here comes some Dak Prescott rookie card for the Dallas Cowboys. And it is signed. Oh, nice. It is to 149. You have the grand debut autograph signed in gold down there. It says hard signed on card. And, of course, the swatch of material as well. And that, friends, is a nice little hit. I tend to pull Zeke out of here more than Dak, so that is a welcome addition. You do have some edge and corner issues, kind of as we talked about before we got into this. The primary one that I see is in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little bit of chipping. But as a whole, it's in pretty good shape. And I don't really think anybody's going to complain about pulling Dak Prescott rookie autograph and materials out of there to 149. So nice hit for the boys. To 99, Noah Spence for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That one is a sticker autograph. Devontae Booker coming up for the Broncos. Once again, you know, all of these with a little edge and corner issues. It's just part of it with the thicker cards. Very rarely do I see a thicker card come out minty mint. That is to 249. You've got a piece of the football and 3 jersey relics. And finally, we have DeAndre Washington to 99 for the Raiders with a nice little mother lode triple relic there. So as soon as we get him in a sleeve, we'll recap. We may as well start with him because he's in my hand. So Washington for the Raiders. Booker for the Broncos. Noah Spence, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Super sweet little Dak Prescott action. I don't know why it looks so weird if you hold it straight on. For some reason, the lighting is just weird with these cards. You have to kind of hold them at an angle to be able to see it. But anyway, nice Dak Prescott rookie hit for the boys. For the Bucks, Jameis Winston. And then Sterling Shepard for the New York Giants. So there we go. Black Gold for 2016 is in the books. It's going to roll us into some 2012 Panini Black Football. And give me a hot second here to get our spreadsheet set up, and we'll get rolling with that. And once again, if you are in this break for 2012 Black, anticipated shipping date is Thursday. Free shipping stuff goes out once every 6 to 7 days on average. Sooner, if you have something else going, it will hitch a ride. And if you do not pull a card in this break or one of the other breaks, you are entitled to a consolation card. Can be from any year, any series, and typically would ship with your next hit. Can ship sooner upon request. So one box of 2012 Panini Black Football break number 7. Ended tonight, the 27th of April. Live streaming it tonight, the 27th of April. And it's break number 7. I don't know if I said that a minute ago. But it is number 7. So the 7th time we have opened 2012 Black. You'll notice I have a question mark here by the Seattle Seahawks. That's because, yeah, I don't know what is going on with that team right at the moment. Because I didn't get an end of transaction notice from eBay, which is how I fill out those spreadsheets. And it also wasn't in a list of unsold stuff. And I also couldn't find it in the sold stuff. So I don't know if I forgot to list it or if it just didn't, if I tried to schedule it and it just didn't start, or if it's going to pop up later. I don't know. So if you have the Seattle Seahawks and you pull a card, not to worry, because I will figure it out. I can hand search PayPal if I have to. But I just could not figure out what was going on in the amount of time I had before we needed to start this break. So that's kind of the deal with that. And all of our cards in 2012 Black are going to be numbered. So we'll take a look at that as we go. Harrison Smith for the Vikings. That is numbered to 349. And Harrison Smith happens to be the cousin of one of my very best friends. So very cool to pull a little Harrison Smith rookie card out of here. Next we have Vernon for the Dolphins to 349. You can definitely see some edge and corner issues with this as well. And that, much like we just saw in Black Gold, you're going to find that throughout. Very few, if any, of these are going to be minty mint. Most of them are going to have edge and corner issues to varying degrees. Fred Jackson for the Buffalo Bills to 349. Beanie Wells for the Cardinals. That is to 349. Oh, Jimmy says he didn't see the Seahawks listed, so maybe it didn't get listed. My listing service, I will tell you this, has been really weird lately, and I use it to schedule starts, and I've noticed that It's put some things, especially in the last few days. Sometimes it's not listing them in alphabetical order the way I enter them. Jake Locker to 49. In a couple of places, I found teams that didn't get listed at all, like I had scheduled them, and it somehow just skipped over them, and I had to go back and enter them later as like 1 day or 3 day auctions to jump in the middle of the 5 day stuff. It's been weird lately. I have reported it to them. They're allegedly working on fixing it, but yeah, they haven't fixed it. Ray Lewis for the Ravens to 349 on the honors insert. So Jimmy, it may be possible, since you didn't see it listed and I can't find it tracked down, that somehow it just did not get listed. So that may be the case, but I'll double check it, of course. A weaponry insert for the Jets to 349 with Santonio Holmes. Now we should be getting into some hits. Ryan Broyles to 349 for the Lions. And you've got the nice, of course, on-card autograph down there in gold. And what is a 2-color patch was very close, it looks like, to being a 3-color, but they cut us off right on the edge. So we ended up with a 2-color patch. Ladarius Green to 199 for the Chargers. That is a sticker auto. And of course, again, all of these with, minor imperfections. This one particularly in that upper left area. To 199, Tyrone Crawford for the Dallas Cowboys. Here comes Lamar Miller for the Dolphins. That is to 299 with the Onyx rookie materials there. And finally, we have Ray Lewis for the Ravens, numbered 220. And you got a couple of nice, well, one in particular nice patch. You've got 2 patches, but one is particularly notable up there at the top. You've got a couple of colors in it and a little bit of a seam, and always nice to pull Ray Lewis if you're a Ravens fan. Of course, me being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Ray Lewis is harder for me, but I still appreciate that it's a nice pull if you're a Ravens fan. So to recap, we have the Ray Lewis to 20, Lamar Miller to 299, Tyrone Crawford to 199 for the Cowboys, Ladarius Green 199 for the Chargers, and then finally we have for the Lions the nice gold signature 2-color patch, Ryan Broyles to 349, which isn't that weird. It's considered prime and it's numbered higher than the others, but yeah, there you go. That's Panini for you. Sometimes they do crazy stuff. Now we're getting ready to move into the main event for tonight, which is Score Football. And let me tell you, it's going to be a monster break with a ton of cards. So if you need a power bar to get through it, or you need a soda or a adult beverage, whatever the case may be, now's the time to get it. This one's going to take a while. So once again, this is a paid shipping break. I am anticipating a Tuesday shipping date because of the fact that I can't even start sorting it until after the 7 rounds of the draft are finished, which will be sometime Saturday. And, of course, I'll have break Saturday night. So, yeah, so I'm anticipating Tuesday as your shipping date. If I get lucky and get it out on Monday, awesome. If something weird happens, it could slide to Wednesday. That's why it always says plus or minus a day. But on the face of it, I think Tuesday is probably our safest bet. 4 boxes of 2018 Score Football. This is a third of a case. It's the first time we're digging into it. It came out on Wednesday. I did not want to start it until we at least got through round 1 of the draft, and of course we got through round 2 and part of 3 tonight as well. And there is a spot, take note here guys, that was also noted in the description, for undrafted rookies. Okay, so anybody that we pull out of here that doesn't get drafted, doesn't end up on a team after the draft concludes tomorrow night, will go to that bidding position. So the rookies that we pull in here, obviously they're not going to be in their pro uniforms. They're in the process of being drafted right now. So here's what that means. I will go through, of course, and match everybody up to their draft positions, to their correct teams when I sort through this. And that will be wherever they end up as of the completion of the draft on Saturday night. So if somebody, got drafted yesterday and gets traded tomorrow, they're going to go to whatever team they're with when the whole thing wraps up on Saturday night. And if they are undrafted at that point, they're going to go to that undrafted position. Now, we're only opening a third of the case, right? But you see, I'm going to take all of the boxes out of here. That's because, I'm going to have to turn them the other way to make them all fit, I think. That's because I always do this when we're starting a case if we're not going to break the whole case at once. I take everything out, we will number them on the end, and then we'll use random.org to determine which 4 we open tonight. Then, of course, we'll have 8 left. So when we do the second break, we'll take those 8, we'll number them again, do the same thing. Obviously, on the third break, we'll only have 4 boxes left, and we won't have to use random. So that's how that is going to work. And I will take you along with me in a moment to go over to random and punch all this in there. So those are our 12 boxes all numbered up. And let's buzz over here to random and complete this little part of the process, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Oh, shoot. Look at that. I do that why do I do that all the time? I don't do it all the time, but I do it enough that it irritates me. One hand gets ahead of the other. I'm using one to type the numbers and the other to do the spacing, and sometimes they don't work in sync. All right, so there we have 1 through 12 typed in. I will hit random 1 time. The first 4 numbers that come up will be the 4 boxes we open tonight. So it gives us box 5, box 10, box 1, and box 9. So 1, 5, 9, and 10 are what we're opening tonight. All right, so here's 1. And there's 5. And I tell you what, I need to get that case back to put these others in there. So hang on 1 second. I put it too far away from me. All right, we need to leave out 9 and 10 to complete here. There's 9, there's 10. And let me put 11 and 12 back in the case, and we'll be ready to go. And this has, well, a massive amount of cards. That's what I was talking about earlier. So many cards. I don't know why they feel the need to put in so many, but they do. We have 400 cards in each one of these boxes. 10 packs a box, 40 cards per pack. So, we're going to cut a path through these, right? We're not going to spend an extraordinary amount of time talking about them unless they're, huge hits or one-of-ones or something like that. But there's going to be tons and tons of base cards, tons and tons of inserts. We're going to blow through them. And we should also find, 4 autographs in each box, I think. Isn't that right? I think we're looking for 4 per box. Of course, it's Panini. You know what that means. It's on average. They always say on average. So basically that means we could find 1 more. We could find 1 less. Usually you find what they tell you you're going to find, unless they have replaced it with a Panini Rewards point card. If that happens tonight, the Rewards point card would, of course, be given out using random.org at the end of the break. This is numbered to, 35. Artist Proof Carson Wentz for the Eagles. Jeff, we have already done 2013 Museum Collection. That was the very first thing up tonight. As a matter of fact, that was first out of the bag. Tonight was 13 Museum Collection. Now, we're to our little section of rookies here. So once again, guys, as we see these rookies go through, they're in their collegiate uniforms. Here's how they're going to be given out. They will be given out by way of draft order, okay? So, for instance, Sam Darnold, who was drafted by the Jets, he will be sorted out and sent to the Jets. So that's how that's going to work. And it will be, of course, Leighton Vander Esch, he was a Cowboy. Saquon Barkley is a Giant. So they will go to the team that drafted them, unless, of course, obviously, if somebody got traded this weekend, which really isn't likely to happen, they're going to go to the team that drafted them. If they end up completely undrafted after all 7 rounds of the draft are completed, which will be tomorrow, it will be completed by tomorrow night, Saturday night. If they're completely undrafted at that point in time, then they will go to that position that was listed as its own bidding category for undrafted rookies. So even if they sign a free agent deal on Sunday, it's not going to matter because they're going to be sent to, it has to be where they are as of Saturday night. If they are undrafted, that's what will happen. Kalen Ballage is our first signature out. Sticker auto. And I am not sure if he has been drafted. It doesn't ring a bell, but you know. Mike, what are you asking me? Oh, yes, this is, sorry, I didn't look over there for a second. That is the first autograph that just came out right now. That was not necessarily the first pack, but it was the first autograph that we've hit. Because it is not one autograph per pack. It is usually going to be 4 autographs per box on average. So, excuse me. And of course, once again, all of our rookies going to be set aside and will be, there went Josh Rosen, who went to the Cardinals, of course, on day 1. And that's how all these are going to rock and roll. And there's however many we see go through there. I think there's, 10 or so per pack of rookies. So there's lots and lots of rookie cards coming out of this product. And while it is possible that we could pull some veteran signatures, I'd say we will most likely pull a lot of rookie signatures, of course, as well. And as things are starting to come into shape a little bit, man, I don't know about my Steelers. Like, I was kind of surprised with our first round choice. We took Terrell Edmunds, not even Tremaine Edmunds. We took his brother, Terrell. But you know who else we took? Oh, yeah, James Washington. We picked up Mr. James Washington earlier this evening. So that will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So there's our second autograph, of course, out of this product. And trying to figure out when we get to the rookie part. I'm trying to keep all the rookies. Baker Mayfield went number 1 to the Browns. Lauletta was not drafted as of the time I had to turn off the television. I don't know if he has been drafted since or not. Of course, Mason Rudolph was drafted by my Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, right before I had to walk away, but he was. This is always the hardest part for me, though, is trying to remember all of the draft picks, which I will, of course, be dealing with for a few products, because there's several products that come out before we see them in their pro uniforms, and it takes a while to retain where everybody goes, when you, especially when you get into the linemen and the less flashy players, if you will. Takes a while to get all that fixed in my head. So the early sorting is always the slowest. Numbered to, what does that say? 50. We have Arden Key, rookie. And then some Jared Goff scoreboard insert. I had to stop and look at that a minute. I was like, why does that have... Yeah, it was actually the score of the game. It just took me a minute to figure it out. I'll admit it. Pettis got drafted today, but I forgot who. Forgot who drafted Dante Pettis. Darius Geis finally went as well. He sat there for a long time, though. Oh, T. Cassidy, we just got a lineman from Western Michigan. Do you remember who it was? What his name was? The lineman, I mean. And I'm hoping they know what they're doing when they took Terrell Edmunds in round 1. I mean, I guess they did, but man, there were a lot of players still on the board that I wouldn't have minded having along about there. But we took a safety, and, you know, I mean, we have, of course, we just traded to get a safety from the Packers, and we already had Sean Davis, but I don't know, I guess they know what they're doing, so. And now we have Deshaun Kaiser, numbered to 50. Why can I not figure out what direction the numbers are going on this? Clearly, I'm having issues figuring out which way the numbering system is in this year's score. Jeff, you are asking me about the 2013 Museum Collection Steelers. There were not any Steelers hits in there. I honestly could not tell you if there were base cards for them. I know that's bad. I know I should remember it because we just recently did it, but I do not. There was not an autograph hit, though. I know that. Or a relic hit. Seahawks were one of them. The Jets were one. I don't even remember who the other two hits were. That's terrible. But I tell you guys, I'm the worst about that. I will remember it if it's a huge, you know, like volcanic hit to 1 of 1 or something massive. Or if it's something unusual. But outside of that, just the kind of regular hits, I often don't remember them 5-10 minutes later. That's bad. I know that's bad. But there's a lot of stuff I look at every day between the sorting and the breaking. It's a lot of cards. That is numbered to 35 on Marcus Allen. Yeah, there definitely was not a Steelers hit in there for sure. But base, like I say, I'm not 100% sure about, Jeff. If you hang around until after we finish up score, which I know is going to be a little while, but if you hang around for that, or even if you wander off and come back, if you're here near the end of the break, just jump into chat and remind me that you want to look at those again, and I will happily put them up and show them to you again after we finish up with score. I don't know why they always change directions. Panini does that quite often. You know what? We're just going to keep them upside down unless they're important. If they're important, i.e. they're numbered, they're a hit, they're a rookie, we're going to flip them the right side up. If they're not, we're going to leave them upside down because there's, you know, 1,600 cards. Justin Jackson is our autograph hit here. And Justin Jackson, I'm pretty sure, has also already been drafted, but it escapes me at the moment as to who drafted him. Of course, I watched the draft as much as I could yesterday before we started the break. And then, of course, I turned it on tonight as well. But, man, I don't know. You see so many players. It is hard to remember a lot of them. Gets easier, of course, as the year goes on, but, or the season, I should say. By the time the actual season starts, probably know all of them. Actually, I'll probably know most of them by the time I've sorted score 3 times. Yeah, buddy. Hey, there's Randall Cobb. I love Randall Cobb. Because he went to UK, University of Kentucky, my alma mater. And we do not have a high number of football players coming out of our program that get drafted. Okay, let's be honest. Our football program, while improving, and we certainly have been improving, was really just not good for a long time. We're still not really what I'd call good, but we are improved. So we should start seeing some people drafted again here in a year or two, I would hope. But point of the matter is, we don't have a lot of players in the NFL. So when we do get one in there, I like them to do well, like Randall Cobb. And here are our rookies for this pack. Oh, T. Cassidy said, oh, I know we got the quarterback. We got Mason Rudolph was the quarterback we got. I saw that right before I had to turn off the television. So I saw the Mason Rudolph. I just did not see, I didn't see the lineman that you said we just drafted. Because, of course, you know, because I'm in here doing this, so I didn't see it. But yeah, Mason Rudolph, I feel like that's probably a pretty good match there. I believe I see a Panini reward point coming, so hang on, I've got to flip it before we get to it, so that obviously we don't want the code showing up. So when I see the edge of those, if I see them in time, I flip them over. Josh Rosen, of course, went to the Cardinals. Bradley Chubb, that just went by there, went to the Broncos. So yeah, our fourth hit in this box, what would have been our fourth autograph, is instead a Panini Rewards point card. That's what I was talking about earlier. I'm going to put it in a sleeve, not because it needs to be protected, but because I'll write on it later after we use random.org to distribute it, which we will do at the end of the break, along with any others that we find, if we find any others. Oh, you're asking me what college Mason Rudolph is from. Oh, gosh. Let me see if I can see him in here real quick, because I don't remember. He's basically one of that second group of 5 quarterbacks that everybody kind of thought would go second or third round. I mean, there's Lauletta, there was Mason Rudolph, there's Luke Falk, Mike White. There's a handful of them that we thought would kind of go second or third round. I don't see him right offhand, but when he comes through again, we'll look at his college for Mason Rudolph, because I don't remember it. But I'm okay with him, you know. I'm okay with where we drafted him, and I of course, I wouldn't have minded really taking Lamar Jackson, even though I know he's a little different style quarterback than Big Ben is, because of course Ben, out of the many things you can say about Ben, him being particularly light and fast on his feet is not one of them. So he probably wouldn't have fit the system all that well, but I wouldn't have minded having him. But of course the Ravens traded up and got him with the last pick of the first round. Which I'm sure if you guys were watching the draft, you could see, oh, he was not happy that I'm not sure if it was that he wasn't happy that he went to the Ravens, or if he wasn't happy that he slid that far down, or both. 49ers, look at you pulling a Charles Haley on-card auto. That's nice. Yeah, pretty cool. That's why you have to kind of respect score, right? Because there are some cool things like that they put in here amongst all of our other rookies. There's Vita. Vita went round 1, and who'd he go to? Now I've forgotten. Went like in the middle of round 1. I think that Charles Haley is really pretty cool for the 49ers. Of course, I respect pulling out a lot of the Hall of Famers and whatnot. I know some people are not as happy when they pull those out. You know, you'd rather have the newer players. It's a different school of thought, I guess, but I enjoy pulling both. Malik Jefferson, and Malik is numbered 250. So I think all of our rookies in here are going to be sticker autos as far as I know. And, of course, Charles Haley was a nice on-card auto. I don't know why they're kind of mixing in right there, rookies and veterans, for a minute. Shaquem Griffin had not gone out when I last saw the draft either, which I was a little bit surprised about because he had an excellent pro day. And he was good at the combine. I mean, obviously I know he doesn't have one of his hands, but he's always played quite well, and he hasn't had that hand since he was a child. I really kind of projected him to go higher. I thought he would probably go somewhere in mid to late round 2. So I was kind of surprised that he's still on the board, or was still on the board. I don't know if he's there now or not. And this is to 35 once again. Randall Cobb. Yay, Randall. That one for the Green Bay Packers. Oh, yeah, you're saying you think Lamar was probably just unhappy because he slid so far down. Yeah, I mean, for sure, I would be too in his situation. But at the same time, once the pick is made and you're in and you're done, I would think that you would, at that point, kind of maybe at least not be so blatantly upset, because it could be interpreted as not liking where you're going as well, but hopefully that's not the case. He should really be happy to be going to Baltimore, frankly, because he may have an opportunity to play there sooner than later. Because, I mean, let's face it, you haven't had much production out of Joe Flacco since he won the Super Bowl and got that giant contract extension. He hasn't really lived up to the money since that point in time, for the most part. And I think they can get out from under that giant contract after this season, I think. So, you know, Lamar might be in good shape there. Numbered 210, we have Case Keenum for the Vikings. And who else do they have setting up there? They have somebody else backing up Joe Flacco right now, and I can't think who it is. But whoever it is, I know they were talking about that the other backup also plays kind of in a similar style to Lamar, neither of which is the style that Flacco plays, which also kind of leads you to believe that maybe Flacco is coming towards the end of his tenure with the Ravens. Of course, you never know. I mean, anything can happen. We've all seen that a million times before. Something unexpected comes along. There went Baker Mayfield, and Laletta. Cam Sutton went off the board today. Isn't that funny? We saw Mason Rudolph in there 2 or 3 times until you asked me what college he was from, and we haven't seen him since. RG3, yes, thank you. Good grief, Mike. Why could I not remember that? It's like they just signed him. We even talked about it when they signed him. I was like, oh, I can't believe they signed RG3 in Baltimore, and then I just totally blanked out and couldn't remember who it was. Good gracious. That's what happens. See, my brain fills up with too much extraneous stuff, and then things I want to remember go out the other ear. That is no good. Terrible getting old. Ryan, how are you, Superfly? What's shaking, man? To 35, we have a little artist proof Harrison Phillips rookie. I just like saying Superfly. So I kind of like that that's part of your username, as it gives me a chance to say it like a whole bunch if I want. I know, so sad that that I find that interesting and amusing, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, T. Cassidy, I did not know that his ratings were like the lowest in the league, but obviously you can watch Flacco play and look at the Ravens over the last few years and just see his production has just not been what it once was. And I mean, they gave him such a giant contract extension at the time. It's just going to choke them if they don't get out from under it, especially given the fact that he's not really playing up to I don't want to say he's not playing up to his potential, because I think he kind of is playing up to his potential. He's just not playing as well as they need for him to. That is to 50. That is Steve Ishmael out of the rookies. Oh, yeah, so Score, you're just coming by to check out Score. Score is a cool product. It has a lot. It's, of course, kind of the early one for 2018. It has loads and loads of rookie cards in it. As you see here, there's 10 or so per pack. So lots and lots of rookie cards. And a lot of the signatures that we're going to pull, Ryan, are our rookies. However, we did pull a nice Charles Haley on card for the 49ers out of one of our early autographs, too. So that was a cool little hit. So there are veteran signatures in here as well. But Score is a high volume kind of ordeal. As you see, it is 400 cards per box, and that is why I only do a quarter of a case at a time, because that's 1,600 cards, which is a lot. It's a lot to break, but it seems like it is 4 million cards when you have to sort it. I will tell you that. To 50, we have Tyler Higbee. Not to mention, I would practically have to have a freight delivery. If I were shipping a bunch of teams to one person, they'd probably weigh 10 pounds. Be crazy. It is a lot of cards. If they could make this product with maybe half as many cards, I would just break the heck out of it. Yeah, you say everybody gets a billion base cards for sorting. Yeah, I mean, you will get a billion base cards. There is no question. But there are also some cool inserts in here. And I think the design is nice this year for Score. Some years I like it better than others. I do like it this year. I think it's a nice kind of clean design, and I think it's looks pretty good this year. Oh, boom, baby. Who asked for Sam Darnold a while ago? Somebody said, come on, Darnold. Yeah, buddy. There he is. Now you're happy, aren't you? Yes, you are. That was a nice little hit coming out there to make you very happy. Those were all... I'm trying to keep our rookies out separate, if you're wondering why I'm sometimes taking these in big chunks and sometimes in little. I'm trying to keep all the rookies in a separate pile because they all obviously have to be sorted after the draft completes, whereas the veterans I can sort in advance of that. Yeah, so the Jets are going to be relevant pretty soon. with Mr. Darnold, as will the Bills with Josh Allen, and the Cardinals with Josh Rosen. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about this, but it really seems like that the Browns kind of messed up their draft again, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know what they're doing sometimes, most of the time up there in Cleveland. But maybe they're going to prove us wrong, and Baker Mayfield's going to light it up. And we'll know in a few months, I guess. Arden Key is our last signature out of this box. Dusty, we have already broken 2012 Black. Yes, sir. We finished that one up right before we started score, so it has been a little bit ago because we're already halfway through the score break. Who did you have in there? Not that I'm necessarily going to remember entirely if I hit something, but I might. I might get lucky and remember it, or somebody else who's watching might get lucky and remember it. Ryan, I don't think that there are technically short prints in this, but there could be. I mean, frankly, you never know with Panini. They just announced, what, like Thursday, maybe? The short prints from Contenders Draft Picks, which, of course, what, came out a couple weeks ago? We've all already broken it. It's all gone out the door, and now they come out and say, oh, by the way, here's a bunch of short picks from Contenders Draft Picks. Oh, okay, well, thanks for telling us the short prints after we've all broken it and sent it out and, you know, whatever. I don't know why they do that, but of course they did the same thing with regular Contenders this year. They released the short prints in 3 different groups, like a week apart in regular Contenders, 2017 Contenders. It made me crazy. Oh, William Myers says Ohtani just knocked one out of the park, apparently. Harold Landry is a defensive end, who I believe has already been drafted, but I could not begin to tell you which team took him. Whoops, I did not mean to leave our rookies facing the wrong way. Yeah, T. Cassidy, I mean, I agree with you. I honestly, if I had been the Browns, I probably would have taken Saquon Barkley, number 1. And again, I know that's not the popular PC way to do things these days, taking a running back number 1, but I would have taken Barkley number 1. And you know by the time you choose again that there's still going to be a serviceable quarterback left. And maybe it's not going to be your first choice. However, in this case, since Baker Mayfield was their first choice, it probably would have still been left. But either way, I mean, out of Allen, Rosen, Mayfield, you know, you're going to get somebody. So I would have probably taken Barkley number 1 overall, too. Eddie Lacy, award winner autographs on card for the Green Bay Packers. Which is interesting that they would put him in there as a Packer, considering he spent all of last season with the Seahawks. So why is he still in here as a Packer? I don't know, but he is. Here's Mason Rudolph, so I can tell you now what his school was. Oklahoma State. Which was... That kind of went through my head when we were first talking about Mason Rudolph, and I thought, no, that's not right. He wasn't Oklahoma State, but yeah, guess he was. But who knows? I mean, they may end up knocking it out of the park with Baker Mayfield. You never know. It just reminds me so much of the Johnny Manziel draft. I think that's probably what gives everybody a little bit of pause with this choice, because Johnny Manziel had some similar personality traits, if you will, to Baker Mayfield. Although I think Baker's probably got a better arm than Johnny had, but there are definitely some similarities. That is number 250, Justin Jackson. But surely to goodness they're going to get it right one of these days. I mean, what have they had? 28? Oh, there's Vita again. 28 different quarterbacks, something like that, in the 20 years since they've been a franchise. It's a lot. Anyway, it's a large number. But they're never really going to do the traditional thing there when you're the Browns. You're just not going to. Even the lineman they took was who they took Derwin, right? Derwin James. Even that wasn't not necessarily the choice I would have made. I would have taken Chubb. I would have taken Bradley Chubb in a heartbeat over Derwin James. But you know, I was going to say, I guess they know what they're doing, but if you look at their record for the last 2 years, that's up for debate. Hines, not Nyheim Hines. But I will say they have chosen some good linemen for sure in this draft, and that will make a big difference as well, because they chose some nice defensive players last year, too. So their defense is actually going to be in, really, I think, pretty good shape. As long as Baker can deliver on the offensive side, they may actually turn out to be pretty good this year. Dusty, well, there's two ways to answer your question, Dusty, and I will just give you both of them. First off, YouTube will have an archived version of this break, and it'll just be titled like Leader of the Pack Breaks live stream or whatever. And it'll have a date and time stamp of whatever time and date the break finishes, oddly enough. Not when it starts, but when it finishes. So if we finish before midnight tonight, it would be the live stream that'll say 4:27. If it finishes after midnight, it might say 4:28. This is number 250. It is Kobe Fleener for the Saints. And that YouTube version that they archive usually is available after maybe a couple of hours after the break is over. They do whatever processing is. And once that finishes, then it's up and available to view. But it's just going to have, as I said, the title, Leader of the Pack Breaks live stream. The one that I upload, which will be the exact same video content, but I will put the proper title and tags on it, that will go up sometime tomorrow. And there's not a specific time. It's just usually in the late afternoon or early evening of the day following the break. So to answer your question, if you want to see the version with the, right tags and titles, tomorrow afternoon or early evening. If you don't care about that and you just want to see the video, then you'll be able to, I would say within a couple of hours. It tends to vary depending on how long the break was for YouTube to process their stuff. But on average, I'd say a couple hours. It just makes me crazy that they put these in here going 100 different directions. You guys know this about me because I complain about it all the time. It just makes me crazy. Why must they do it? I don't know. Leighton Vander Esch. He went to the Dallas Cowboys in round 1. Many people had him in their mock drafts going to the Steelers, but he was off the board well before he got to us. Luke Falk. actually making decent time on this. It's not too bad. I say that now. When it comes time to sort it, I'll be so sad. Oh, no. Oh, it is just dreadful when you have to do lots and lots of base cards in a sort. Number 235, Ronald Jones II. He's also off the board already, but can't remember to what team. Most of what we're seeing in here so far tonight, well, I shouldn't say most, but there's a fair number of these that are already off the board. I'm sure we're going to end up having a fair number that are completely undrafted too, because it always happens that way every year. That's always the interesting part of any of the early products. Score, Majestic, I mean, really everything up to Elite. I think Elite is the first one that we will have this year. Elite's the first one most years, I think, where the players, the newly drafted players, will be in their pro uniforms. By the time we do Classics, they will have the pro team names on the card, but they aren't yet in their pro uniforms. I'm pretty sure Elite will be the first one with them in their pro uniforms. But of course, we do have that new product this year too, Luminance, and it is going to have some draft day signatures or next day signatures, one of the two. And it looks pretty cool, actually. It appears to have some very nice relics in it, like laundry tags and Nike swooshes and things like that, as well as these next day autos. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool product. Of course, you never know till you get it in your hands, but it looks pretty cool. Number 220, Mark Ingram for the Saints. Then there's a couple of other new ones. Metal Elements. I was like trying to say metal. Yeah, Elements is going to be a new one this year as well. And maybe there's even been another new one announced already, but it all kind of starts to run together. Especially because every other day they're announcing a new basketball product. I mean, it's like, milk that much, Panini? Come on. We will still have new basketball products for this season already up until the middle of July. And they haven't even announced Flawless yet. So, I mean, they always do basketball in such a weird order. Because NT comes out next Friday, week from today. And, you know, in football, you have NT, and then you have Flawless, and then you're done with the season. No, not so in basketball. We haven't even had Spectra yet. But we have NT next week, and then a whole bunch of new products, and then Spectra, and then some more new products, and eventually we'll get to Flawless, hopefully. But I don't like the way they do the basketball calendar. I wish they would at least follow the same basic format that they use for football. In other words, make NT and Flawless the last two of the season. And I really don't even know why they stretch it out so much. I mean, the draft is in June, right? Yeah, the middle of June, maybe, I think, is the draft. So in theory, why couldn't you start with your new basketball products in July instead of still giving us 17, 18 basketball products in July? Who knows? I don't think the different sports talk to one another at Panini. You know, the basketball team designs their things, the football team designs theirs. Nobody talks to anybody. They all just follow their own path. 235, Adrian Peterson, Cardinals. Derwin James. And our rookies for this pack. Sony Michel went to the Patriots, right? I think so. I like Sony Michel a little bit. I wouldn't have minded seeing him join the Steelers either. Actually, I like Sony Michel probably more than a little bit. I like Sony Michel a lot. And we'll see how it translates to the next level, but I do like him. Gronkowski, 250. Did come back out and announce that he is officially coming back to the Patriots, which I think we all had guessed anyway, but he was playing coy with it there for a bit, as though he might not come back. That's Tremaine Edmunds, which is not the Edmunds that the Steelers took. Tremaine went off the board several picks before the Steelers took Terrell at in the first round. They are brothers. I can't remember if Terrell is the younger or the older of the two, though. And this is numbered 220, Billy Price, rookie. As a whole, I think the draft's been fairly interesting this year. I mean, anytime you have 5 quarterbacks go in round 1, that's going to be an interesting draft, basically. I think historically, you would probably, if we went back and looked at, say, the last 10 years worth of drafts, maybe even the last 20 years worth of drafts, it would probably be 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. I can't remember the last time that there were 5 quarterbacks in the first round, but then none in the second round. Then they don't come off the board again until the 3rd round. So I guess the average maybe still works itself out. I don't know. Ballage. And this one is numbered 250. And didn't we pull one of him earlier? Might have. We'll find out when we recap. Sometimes they're stuck in my head and we've only had them in a numbered insert or something like that, and I'll have them in my head and think that it was a signature when it was really something else. Wonder how many veteran quarterbacks get nervous or worked up when they watch the young guys get drafted. I mean, I guess if you're like Big Ben and you know you're only going to play a few more years, you probably don't care that much. But if you're somebody who you're still expecting to play for a while and all of a sudden your team starts loading up on young quarterback talent, you're probably not very happy. It's probably a bad week of the year or a bad weekend of the year for some people. Whoops, there goes my job. So I saw today somebody sent out a mailer, an email blast announcing that they still had some Score football, which you would expect them to still have some, right? It just came out Wednesday. And they have already on Score now, on Score football, with what we're opening right now, they have already raised it by, oh gosh, like 25 to 30% above the release price. So they're going to do to football what they have done to baseball all season. It's going to be ugly, I suspect. There is Jester Way. So as the season goes on, they're probably going to start getting greedy. Our distributors are going to be getting greedy with our football cards the way they've been greedy with our baseball cards lately. Somebody said in the break last night that the Ohtani 1-of-1 superfractor with the auto had been pulled, but I couldn't find any information about that today. I was looking to try to see where it was pulled, who pulled it, whatever. I couldn't find it. I found where a 1-of-1 base card was pulled, but it wasn't a superfractor. It was a platinum parallel. So I don't know. I mean, I guess he was right, unless he just saw the other one and generically was referring to a 1-of-1, but I was trying to find out who pulled it. Couldn't seem to track it down. Sterling Shepard, number 220 for the New York Giants. And of course, you know, it came up last night too. The auctions I had been watching, he was saying he couldn't find those prices. And I was like, I know, I have bookmarked those things. I had just looked at it. I meant to go back at the end of the break and pull up my eBay on screen, and I could have gone back to the, you know, list of auctions that I'm watching, and we would have been able to see them, and I forgot to do it. So I looked at them today, and a lot of them, yeah, the people ended the auction early for some reason, including the one that was up over $37,000 on an Ohtani signature. It was an atomic refractor signed, numbered to 100. And the bid had been over $37,000, and the seller ended the auction early, said it was an error in the listing, which, you know, it wasn't, but something went weird. James Washington. That is our second James Washington, isn't it? I think it might be. And so, too, were a lot of the other early Ohtani auctions that had really high bids had also been ended early, so that was kind of odd. I don't know if somebody contacted those people and said, hey, I'll buy it from you directly for XYZ price, and so they said, heck yeah, and ended them, or something else happened. It's weird. Weird, weird, weird. Either way, they're going for a lot of money. The Ohtani stuff, I mean. I'm interested to see how easily or how difficult how easy or how difficult it will be to pull him out of some of these other things, like where he's in the signed baseballs and the Onyx preferred players and stuff like that. Because I would imagine his signed memorabilia probably going to bring pretty good money as well. You saw there a second ago, I'll hold it up here again in a moment, but we had another hit replaced by a rewards point card. I just had to flip it over so the code didn't end up exposed there when I got to that card in the pile. So that's what that was about. All right, so Mike, you are asking me to recap something other than this at the end. What was it you wanted me to recap? Which one were you wanting again? Museum collection or 12 black? I forgot. Sterling Shepard 220 for the Giants. Billy Price to 20 from our rookies. Number 250, we have Gronk and the Patriots. Number 235, Adrian Peterson, Cardinals. Number 220, Mark Ingram and the Saints. One of our rookies is numbered to 35, Ronald Jones. To 50 for the Saints, Kobe Fleener. To 50, one of our rookies, Justin Jackson. To 50 is Tyler Higbee and the Rams. Also 250, very popular number tonight, Steve Ishmael, one of our rookies. Another rookie, this one to 35, Harrison Phillips. Case Keenum, 50, Vikings. Randall Cobb, who I like, to 35 for the Green Bay Packers. Numbered to 35, Marcus Allen, one of our rookies. Deshaun Kaiser still as a Brown in this set, numbered 250. Of course, he was traded away, but it's going to go to the Browns because that's the team on the card. Numbered 250, Arden Key. Carson Wentz, 235. Arden Key, of course, was one of our rookies. And you know what? Before we recap our signatures, let's deal with these two bad boys. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to bring you along with me as I do this, but I will go into the spreadsheet. We'll copy each of the team names from our spreadsheet list here. Then we'll roll over here to random.org and we'll paste them all in there as a group. And I will hit random just one time because we've got 33 items in our list. And whichever two, it'll be the top two teams will take home the reward points, or the top two bidding positions, because undrafted rookies, of course, will be added in here as well. They were a bidding position tonight as well. Well, I hit copy instead of paste. So I'll scroll down through here. You can see that each of the teams were correctly pasted in there, along with our undrafted rookies bidding spot. So I'm going to hit random. Top two teams, after random displays the results, each will get 150 reward point card. So that comes up as the Raiders and the Dolphins. So Raiders and Dolphins each get one of these cards. And of course, as we discussed, each of these replaced an autograph hit in the box that it came out of. So instead of an autograph, we got a 150 point card that went to the Dolphins using random. Instead of an autograph, we got a 150 points card that went to the Raiders using random. James Washington. Jester Way. Ballage numbered 250. Leighton Vander Esch. Nyheim Hines. One of the two. Eddie Lacy on card for the Green Bay Packers. Harold Landry as our rookie. Arden Key. The big hit out of this particular break as far as our rookies go, Sam Darnold. Or at least who we think is the big hit. You never know. When they start playing, sometimes that stuff slides around. Malik Jefferson, 250. Nice on-card auto, Charles Haley for the 49ers. Justin Jackson. Why do I not have Justin Jackson in the sleeve? What happened to him? I don't know. Now he's in one. James Washington. And another Ballage. So that is Score Football. Now let me check over here in chat because I know somebody wanted to see something recap. So let's see what's going on over here. Oh, Jimmy says that those auctions had to be ended because the auction started before the release date. Oh, so Bowman got in touch with eBay and complained, and then eBay made them end the auctions. Well, that makes sense because I did look at some of that stuff and think, okay, you guys have this up before the official release date even hit, so you knew they had to be hobby shop owners or closely connected to them or distributors or something like that, because otherwise you wouldn't have had it that early. So yeah, that makes good sense though, Jimmy. That's good info. Thank you. And Mike, what you did not jump back into chat here. Which thing did you want to recap? I forgot which, because somebody asked me earlier about 2012 Black and somebody asked me about 2013 Museum Collection, and I don't remember which one you wanted to see. Or if you were just asking me for that recap, but I think you were asking me for one of these others. but I don't know. So are you still on here, Mike? Or did you go away? I don't know. Maybe you left. I don't know. So while I'm waiting for Mike to see what else he wanted to see recapped, let's roll back over here to the spreadsheet in case you missed it earlier. Well, I did not mean to hit that button. In case you missed it earlier, here is your anticipated shipping information. And again, the reason that score is going out a little later than normal, because I have to, A, wait for the draft to completely end, which will not be until tomorrow night. And then B, it's going to be a lot harder to sort because I have to sort out all of those rookies and then figure out who drafted them, etc. So if I can get it out faster than that, I absolutely will. But for now, let's plan on Tuesday for that. And we'll do a quick little scroll through here if you want to take a look at the stuff that's coming up over the course of the next 5 days. All about basketball on Saturday, a variety of things in there. On Sunday, we've got some more memorabilia, some autographed baseballs. Those are the preferred players I was talking about earlier. Some prime signatures and some Bowman. We'll do another score break on Monday night, along with a full-sized helmet. Tuesday will be some more Bowman, some more baseballs, and a variety of other little baseball, odds and ends in there. And then Wednesday, we'll do the last of this case of score. So Monday and Wednesday, we'll finish up the case of score that we're working on, that we started on tonight. All right, guys, and I guess that is it for me tonight then. Mike did not jump back in there, so I guess whatever he wanted to see, he's already seen, so we don't have to worry about that. And that is it. So once again, thanks to everybody who participated and who joined the break, and hopefully I will see you again on another break in the days ahead. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.